What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another video. I'm Michigan Sports Talk here, and in this one we're going to be talking about why Michigan should be the #1 team in college football right now, as they had one of the best, if not the best, performance by any other team this past week of college football. There's even college football analysts putting Michigan #1 in their rankings. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get right into today's video. Alright, so the AP poll just came out today with the newest rankings, and the top 10 consists of, in order, #1 Georgia, #2 Michigan, #3 Texas, #4 Ohio State, and #5 Florida State. And then #6 comes in at Penn State, #7 Washington, #8 Oregon, #9 USC, and #10 Notre Dame. Now Georgia received 35 first place votes, with Michigan receiving 12, Texas receiving 10, Ohio State received 1, and Florida State received 4. Now Texas had a nice win over Kansas as they won 40-14, and Oregon has also been dominating. They beat Stanford 42-6, but other than that, Michigan had the best performance as they beat Nebraska 45-7 on the road. It was their first road game of the season, and they by far had their best game of the season. They were leading 28-0 at halftime, and they pulled J.J. McCarthy and most of their starters before the third quarter even ended. Coming into the game, Nebraska had the #1 rushing defense in all of college football, and after the game against Michigan, they moved all the way down to number 14 because Michigan rushed for 249 yards against them. They completely pounded Nebraska and dominated the line of scrimmage. Both the offense and the defense, they just both had fantastic games. And not only that, but Michigan really made no mistakes. They had no turnovers. Now we're going to go ahead and talk about the Michigan versus Nebraska game a little bit later in the video, but I do first want to mention some of the stats that Michigan currently leads the nation in, and it's a lot of defense. I mean, Michigan's defense has been one of the best defenses in college football, if not the best, and Michigan currently leads the nation in scoring defense, allowing only 6 points per game. First down defense, only allowing 11.4 per game. Red zone defense, only allowing a percentage of 37.5%. Touchdowns allowed, which is 0.6 per game. They also have the fewest penalty yards, 18.6 per game, and the fewest tackle for losses allowed, 2 per game. Just goes to show how good the offensive line has been doing in protecting J.J. McCarthy. And not only that, but Michigan's offensive line probably had the best game they've had all season against Nebraska. And obviously, you know, if Georgia lost to Auburn, which if it wasn't for Brock Bowers, Georgia probably would have lost that game against Auburn. Michigan would be the clear #1 in the AP poll. And I mean, you could even make a strong case right now that Michigan should have been ranked #1 in the AP poll because Georgia only beat Auburn 27-20, and it was a very close game. You know, Georgia, they don't look as dominant as they were last year. You know, they still are a very good team that is going to be very tough to beat. But right now, I think you could make the case that Michigan is the most dominant and most complete team of college football. They have not allowed more than 7 points against their opponents this season, and a lot of the points against them have come in garbage time, just like Nebraska, as Michigan probably should have shut them out when Nebraska had a long rushing touchdown towards the end of the fourth quarter. So let me know what you guys think. Do you guys think Michigan is the most complete team? And by complete team, I mean they have an offense that has the capability to put up points, but not only that, also controlling the game and controlling the tempo of the game. And they also have one of the best defenses in college football, where if their offense is struggling, their defense can come through for them and win the game for them. And that's what Michigan has this season. I feel like we all knew, at least Michigan fans, that the offense was going to be good because they were returning a lot of starters. But the defense, I mean, we replaced some key players on the defensive side, and the main concern was the secondary. but so far Michigan's defense has looked stellar. Now, I am not the only person that thinks Michigan should be ranked number 1 right now, as Joel Klatt, one of the best college football analysts, also has Michigan at their number 1 spot. He has number 1 Michigan, number 2 Texas, number 3 Georgia, number 4 Ohio State, number 5 Penn State, number 6 Florida State, number 7 Washington, number 8 Oregon, number 9 USC, and number 10 Oklahoma. So let me know what you guys think, but right now Michigan might have the most complete team in college football right now, and I think they definitely are the number 1 team coming out of week 5 of college football, because Georgia, they just didn't look that dominant against Auburn. A lot of teams actually struggled. Penn State struggled with Northwestern, Washington struggled last night against Arizona, and USC struggled with Colorado a little bit there as well. And you also look at Michigan's schedule. I mean, they have dominated everybody they've played. They've won by 24 or more points in every single game that they've played this season, and they just had their best victory over Nebraska, winning it 45-7. And let's just be real here, that could have been a lot worse if Michigan didn't pull their starters before the end of the 3rd quarter. But it was a beautiful win for Michigan. It was beautiful to watch as a Michigan fan. It was just a complete domination. You know, Michigan, they had a total of 436 total yards. Nebraska, 305 total yards. A lot of it, though, came in the 4th quarter during garbage time. But Michigan, they had 187 passing yards, 249 rushing yards, again against the number 1 rushing defense coming into the game. Michigan, they had 0 turnovers. They also forced an interception as the big boy Kenneth Grant, the sophomore defensive tackle for Michigan, came down with it. But looking at J.J. McCarthy's numbers, his QBR rating was off the charts again. He went 12 for 16, 156 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. He also had 2 carries for 30 yards and a rushing touchdown. So 3 total touchdowns for J.J. McCarthy. He played a phenomenal game. And then Jack Tuttle and Jaden Denigale really had a good game. Michigan, they played 4 quarterbacks in this game. Jack Tuttle went 3 for 4 for 23 yards, and Jaden Denigale went 1 for 1 as he had an 8-yard touchdown throw to Peyton O'Leary. Great to see him in the game as he's been injured for Michigan. But looking at rushing, Blake Corum had another great game, 16 carries, 74 yards, and a touchdown. Donovan Edwards, you know, still trying to figure things out, but he had 14 carries for 48 yards. Kalel Mullings has been running the rock very good. He had 5 carries, 43 yards, and a touchdown. And then Roman Wilson, possibly the best wide receiver in the Big Ten. Now, Marvin Harrison Jr. probably has better talent than him, but stats-wise, Roman Wilson has been off the charts. He had another 2 touchdown performance, 4 receptions for 58 yards. A.J. Barner and Colson Loveland got in there. And then Darius Clemens had 2 receptions for 29 yards as he's coming off of an injury. And Cornelius Johnson had 2 receptions for 52 yards. And Michigan's defense was phenomenal. Josiah Stewart, the transfer from Coastal Carolina, had a total of 5 tackles and 2 sacks in the game. Derek Moore also had a great game, 1 sack for him, and he had 3 total tackles. Keon Sabb had 5 total tackles. Braden McGregor also got his first sack of the season, and he also had some pass deflections. He was very good. So Michigan, they had a total of 4 sacks against Nebraska. They also stopped Nebraska 2 times on 4th downs, including one early in the game when they led 14-0. Nebraska threatening to score. It was 4th and 1. In Michigan, they had a fantastic stand. And do keep in mind, Michigan was without one of their best defensive tackles out of Mason Graham, as he has an injury right now. So altogether, it was just a very good performance by Michigan. It was the complete performance that I think we were all looking for. But Michigan, 5-0. They go on the road next week at night against Minnesota, and hopefully they can repeat what they did against Nebraska this weekend. But other than that, that is going to wrap up today's video. Hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, make sure you guys go ahead, drop a like, comment down below, and subscribe for more if you are new around here. I greatly appreciate it. But other than that, we will see you guys in the next video. Go Blue.